Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have the chat off. I wanted to do a regular video, but it didn't allow me to. It kept going back and forth, back and forth. So this is going to be Georgetown, Mass. Hold on. Hello? Hello? Yeah? Why the fuck? Okay. So sorry about that. This is why I wanted to do just a quick little video. So yes, good morning. I'm Courtney. I'm a little nervous. See, it's like starting new things or talking about things that I don't typically discuss. So let me get it out. And yes, I do have bird shit on me. I do own a wild bird that was rescued. I have a couple different channels for those who do not know. This is a recap on yesterday's read, which is 4 hours long, about the plane crashes colliding that I predicted. Here's the thing too. I don't like saying that I predicted. I don't. I'm just the messenger. Everybody out there that is like, oh, for those who predicted this, or this one predicted this, or Notre Dame predicted that, like, we're prophets. So we're able to obtain that knowledge through channeling, through higher wisdom, through DNA, through things that are already embedded within us, knowing where we would choose to go in this lifetime, whether we would follow through or not, because we're all born with gifts. It's just a matter of if you get locked into the system in the sense of the matrix, okay? But in regards to these plane crashes, I have been doing videos on these back and forth, and it started in December. I do have another channel. It is called The Prophecies of Your Modern Day Citrus, accompanied by AI. I've been doing this for a couple years. I started it 3 years ago, for those who don't know. I don't know why I feel like this has to be an intro as well. I believe I started it in 2019. I did it for a little while, and then I popped off because I was like, there's no way I'm going to be a prophet. There's no way I'm going to deliver these messages. And for those who have been on my mystical moments, which we're on now, no, I've been saying this, and it's like the one thing that I actually fear, the one thing I don't want to do when it comes to spiritual work. But it just keeps coming through stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's something I feel like I can't escape at this point, so I started to accept it. So here's the thing too that's important. I took a couple years off of this channel. I really just didn't want to do it. But it kept slowly coming in other reads. So when I finally got back to it, and I only got back to it because one of my OGs, my originals on this channel, mentioned something about a lot of your predictions from years ago are starting to come in. So I grabbed the book that I was using, that Donkey Beach came in, that, all my predictions had came in except for the 9/11 situation that I knew was going to happen again. Like, it was a complete replica. So this is how I kind of got started, a little intake on how I kind of got started with that. And then again, me and my tribe, crew, OGs, we started getting into it again, and everything, like I said, everything I went over in all those videos happened, and it took about 2 years. Some of them didn't take that long, okay? Typically I would just do an update on yesterday's read, but for some reason I just feel like it's relevant to kind of give you a little bit of a lowdown. So it's almost like I made it official a few months ago that I was going to stay dedicated to it, and then I started doing these type of reads with predictions when it comes to the stocks and when it comes to just global news, because it was just coming out so strongly in the reads, because I'm also a tarot reader, but I'm not the normal tarot reader. I don't read like people would think. I channel through cards as well as depiction. So the channeling got heavier and heavier and heavier where I couldn't avoid it. But for the last couple months, it's been coming through on Mystical Moments, which you're on now. Again, let me just breathe for a minute. The anxiety is like, no matter I start something new, I get super duper anxiety. And this isn't new, so it's kind of telling me there's a good chance that this particular video could possibly circulate. And I'm not trying to market myself out there, because it's a huge responsibility. You never know when things are going to come into fruition. But the only one that did not come into fruition was the 9/11. So I predicted Trump. Everything in the last 3 months have been coming in, and they've been coming in quick and fierce. I also want to get back to this with Russia, Vance to declare war after the assassination of Trump, which will be in 2025. This was an interesting reading. I think it was like 3 hours, and I just did, if you go to my video section on the other channel, you'll see like a short recap. I got pulled. It was very ironic how it happened, but I got pulled to Trump, and then Arnold Palmer, and then Steven Stiller. They all played golf with. And 4 different, in regards, plans: Russia to attack Finland and Sweden, early planning, March and April with the golf course. No, with early planning in regards to this. So, and see, I knew this was linked. Hubble Space Telescope. Everything is linked to this Hubble Telescope video. And also with this Trump, I was talking about his golf course, buddies being on it. We were talking about the drones. We were talking about a helicopter, and like the president being taken off the golf course because they didn't know why. That came into fruition too. This is when I said he'd be assassinated by the same group that started assassinating, could be as far back as 1865 with Lincoln, and the group just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And it is every certain amount of years that this actually happens to presidents. So like the same association that killed Kennedy will kill Trump. That's a whole nother reading. In regards to this drone talk, it was in April 8th, 2024, this particular one. And that all came into prediction as well. There's also videos on that. And within April, I was doing a reading in the living room, and I kept hearing like extraterrestrial instrumental tracker or extraterrestrial intelligence tracker, or extraterrestrial instrumental intelligence. So the drones is nothing to worry about. The only thing we have to worry about with the drones right now, because it is extraterrestrial, which is great. I literally hope one knocks on my door and I crack a beer. I'm not shitting you. They're here to help us. It also has to do with the excursion video that's on something else. I could also update that briefly. Maybe at the end of this video, I can put that on for you and you can choose to watch it or not. Lincoln, Alabama, Chemical warfare has already started. It has started in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Florida, Virginia, Ohio, in this sense to the drones. And I just got put in the mysterious fog. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm just trying to tell you how I got to this prediction in regards to the crashes, the colliding. And this has to do with our fruits, our grains. And it is the fog. And it is like the drones releasing chemicals. And it's our government releasing the chemicals and blaming it on the drones. So this is another one. You can go to another read where I had started telling you guys months before this to stop eating certain things like fruits and veggies, and I was getting nervous in the grocery store myself. There's been some recalls on quite a few of these already. And the ones that were safe, Maryland soybean, corn, barley, anything that's grown in a greenhouse is safe, or a nursery is safe from the chemical warfare in the sense of poisoning. And they're doing it with drones. Peru, Africa, all that. School, church, Russia, India, that's something else. I wanted to discuss the Pope, didn't get into it yet. And Hawaii predicted a lot of stuff that was going down in California, the fires, where it's a whole nother story. That was the tsunamis that came through. I heard brutality on Inauguration Day. There was some things I was extremely happy about that didn't happen, but he also didn't go to the parade, or he didn't go to the soccer field or whatever it was. And then Must Die came through. Trump talking about a preacher, Bruce Willis. He's a big supporter. Aretha Franklin came in. Ted Nugent came into that one. Public Eye, something with carnations. And I've been talking about a funeral for a couple weeks. I keep seeing a funeral. These were the 3 women that came back with the Stockholm Syndrome. That's something for me to work on when it comes to my other channel, Dallas Method. There was Hawaii. I have lots of notebooks, okay? So, Capitol riot, fraud, music, whistleblower. So this is when we start, 12 minutes in. This is when we kind of started with the whole, I don't want it on the same page. Somebody came on and said, did you hear about the planes? This is how I always find out about the predictions, because I'm not too big on the news. So this is how I finally broke the book out, and I was like, okay, well, offer that, please. Let's. It started because I've been saying Mayday, Mayday to Mayday for like 2 weeks. And I've been saying fucking Reagan for like 3 weeks, even longer. And we couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. And within that time frame, there was 3 different readings where it was planes, tsunamis, and ISM malfunctions when it comes to military. I got pulled more to ships, but I did say plane in a couple different readings. So there's yesterday's read that I didn't label yet. One was the Hubble on the other channel, the Hubble Space Scope. And the one right before it was, I think, catching up on videos. And when it came to the whole 9/11 thing, it was still all the planes. It just wasn't going to be on one day. It was like all in January, February, one in each week. Planes, trains, or automobiles. They all came through with predictions. I think the second week was like a car. I did say at the end of week 4, two planes, but one is engine failure. In regards to the tsunami in Peru, we had talked about that. I also, hey, same predicted. Remember, I'm just the messenger. Are you over talking Mama right now? I hear you. Yeah, you're my peanut butter. I also just opened a channel for him. Yep, peanut butter. He says cutie, 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 all sorts of things. He's a rescued starling. He's 9 months old. Because we had mentioned the fishing industry, that whole area being wiped out. And they only use ISM when something else doesn't work. But as of January 2025, they were switching to one gyro mode. This was the first read, December 10th. This was the first read that started the whole airplane situation. Peanut butter. Please don't overtalk Mama. Because I was hearing ground control to Major Tom, distress signals, humans, AIs. We're dealing with the gloom again, and then like the derecho storms that hit Tennessee. I said there's going to be storms: Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe Mississippi, Houston, possibly. They all had a storm before the planes came in. And then I started talking about the planes at 2:08:50 in this video, which is the Hubble Space Scope. And I was pulled planes were being pulled to the left because of air pressure in the atmosphere, and metabolic pressure. And when I did this recap, it's like 5 minutes long. There's not too much on this except for in the beginning when I talk about planes and Mayday came into this reading, distress calls. I lost reception. Right here, I was watching the news in yesterday's video. I didn't label the time. I had drawn the little thing. Chopper's coming this way. 5243 is coming this way. This is where they don't know why they even did that, but this is exactly on the map that I was watching live, was that like left that they took with the Southwest, where I heard lost communication, and it was perfectly on the map. And I do love when Trump came in and said they were at the same elevation, which they shouldn't have been. Like, to me, it's a terrorist attack, and there was going to be one each week until March. And I've been saying this for months. It's kind of like a green light. Go ahead. And I do feel like it's one of those things where like this message coding got dispatched to whomever was now going to be involved with this situation in regards to terrorist attacks. And something was connected to the plane, but the bombing, or no, it was Vegas, right? They knew each other. It was Army. Army has been playing a big role in my readings. So yesterday when I was like, oh shit, like this sounds like my readings. And I got pulled. I was told I'm like Hubble Space Scope. So I went all the way back, and then I realized maybe I made it. And like I said, Reagan's been coming in. But then I heard Project Pegasus. So I moved some papers around. My Project Pegasus, this is how it started. Project Pegasus. It's got to be one of these. You're welcome. I don't know why I didn't move that page. Right here, drone talk. So again, it was a video. I believe it was just a video. Because I remember doing this within the last month with the excursion. Oh, here we go again with that video I'd like to play for you guys at the end of this. And I was like, why am I hearing Project Pegasus? Like this, how is the plane linked to that? I had no idea. But then I got pulled to the one gyro read, okay? So I just, when I predict a channel on the other thing, the way Spirit maneuvers me is pretty ironic in how I get my messages. It goes from one thing to another thing to another thing. And you'll notice that if you go to in between all this plane stuff is in between these two videos with Hubble Space Scope and catching up on videos. And something did happen, I believe, every week in January. And I knew there was going to be 2 planes in 1 week. And in one of the reads, I was saying, like, where we collide. But it kept pulling me to the movie, so I thought it was weird. But I did mention Blackhawk. I did mention a couple other things and stealth planes going down in reeds, helicopters, military helicopters. This came through with an odd prediction. I think it was like SSN, USS, or UK, or it was not UK, something with Russia, I think. But then it didn't end up coming in. But I didn't even know the ISM existed. The way I get my messages. And I'm trying to keep this brief and my 20 minutes in. So ended up being about with ships, and because I was like, what tracks this? What tracks that when it comes to that and something being in down? And it's like the Hubble Space Scope also tracks this stuff. And I guess this is how it started. So I don't know if the Wi-Fi went down. If something goes down, they're supposed to switch over the main source to ISM. I believe a lot of them have been switching over already, especially submarines. And ISM kills hundreds of people in another read and crew. And then in another read, I remember saying something's going to come up where it's under 100, and then there's going to be another one with hundreds, and there's going to be something big with our ships. That's a whole nother reading in July 2025. So this was older. So yesterday I got pulled to California at one Project Pegasus. Wichita collides with Blackhawk. FFA, PSA Airlines collided. 3s kept coming in. Tower, I'm being told it came from the tower. It was intentional. And I was saying to you guys too that in order for this to happen, what I said with airplanes in different reads from this. Oh, I think it actually came in one of the other reads, but I kept saying to you, like, if they were to collide, it would be because there's somebody on the other plane that they don't want them to survive. It would have to be a pretty important person, like how governors go on planes, first class or whatever they take, but they use their maiden names. Like it's something like that. So that had to tell me right off the rip there was important people on flight 5342. Then, unfortunately, within a read, this was my writing from yesterday, there was also something with a general. And what I'm being told is you won't find the copter, but then they will find it. One of the three from the plane, from the chopper, won't be found. He won't ever be found, but 2 will be recovered. Like all the other people will be recovered except for 1, I believe was what it was. There is something here with a general, something about being dead. I'm not really sure. So that was them all kind of being rescued. Something with the mother came in. Maybe mothership, guys. I don't know. Oh, and it was strange because the guy that got taken that they won't find, from what I'm being told, it is galactic energy. And it is linked to the extraterrestrial intelligence tracker because they probably knew it was already going down. If you guys don't, and I said this before, I talked about extraterrestrials coming around 2 years ago, and I told you guys within the last year, and it was a strong-ass message that I can't find. I don't know if it was taken down, that they're coming, and the motherships are coming, and there's nothing to fear. The drones are nothing to fear. They are extraterrestrial trackers. They are looking for something. It is no harm. The harm is our own government putting our own drones up and tricking us and telling us that it's extraterrestrial or galactic when it's actually us. Our government is the threat here, okay, when it comes to drones. Besides that, nothing to worry about. He had to have been pretty fucking important if extraterrestrial were interested in this one person. I know it sounds fucking wild. So this is why I didn't want to go into the whole prediction thing, okay? But like I said, they've all come into prediction. I've been waiting for this 9/11. This was yesterday as well. In one of the reads, this one, Taps came on, and it was going to be extremely sad. And I said to you at 2:45:35, I had said to you that it's going to be something extremely sad. I was on Mystical Moments for that one, wasn't I? No, I was on Prophecies of Monday, Citrus, accompanied by AI. Because I also wanted to work with AI, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going to do AI. And I had a channel, and then I just combined it instead. Peanut butter. What did they update? Fucking YouTube? What's going on here? Drones, there's one on drones. Ireland fires, Donaggio. So telescope was right here. President assassination is right before that. That's why I predict everything going down on the golf course that already happened. The Donaggio storm. So that storm came in. People got snow, all that stuff. That storm came in, and now the planes came right after, because these readings, there was 3 reads on these planes, including other ones, but 3 that I can tell you about to go to. So I believe this one was catching up on current events, and it was at 2:45. And it's much faster. I'm hearing dun-dun-dun. I'm hearing the flag like at a memorial. Where's that coming from? Caden's room? Oh, because I've been speaking about a funeral for weeks with carnations in the pockets, bigwigs, suits. And now we know why. It's these type of funerals that are coming in. So I've been picking up on this energy for... I thought I heard something. It's not coming from upstairs, guys. I actually heard it. Since December. Holy shit. This is the first time I heard the music. Because I typically don't hear. You know what song I'm talking about? Like, it's like at a funeral, or like when somebody dies. It's a military. There's no words. It's just, it's like with a trumpet. It's like, dun, 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 dun. Holy shit. They play it at funerals. What do they play at funerals for the military when they get off a plane or they bury them? The playing of taps. Yeah, with the trumpet. I literally just heard this play out. Oh, man. Guys, I actually heard it. That's crazy. I usually don't hear like that. Wow. Goosebumps everywhere. Jesus. though. That's sad. Oh, whatever this is, guys, is going to be so sad. Wow, I cannot believe I heard it. It's not coming from upstairs. Poor kids.
What is that?
No, Sheldon.
Playing a video.
At 2:19, I was talking about this every week. Well, this is sad. So, I think at 2:08, I mentioned planes. I don't know if it's this video or not. All right. I figured I might as well just wait until she went to work, guys. Oh, you just shit on the blackboard, too. You shit on the fucking cricket. Oh, that's like pee and poop. That's what I noticed he's been doing lately. I was so happy when it was just poop. Okay, so it's, not gonna lie. Or I have the 200. It's probably the other video.
I used the milk that expired for your milk yesterday.
That's okay.
And I used it today.
That's alright.
Hopefully you'll be fine. Just throw it away. I'll do it when I get back.
Peanut.
Maybe in like 10 minutes to get him.
Okay. 8 seconds. This could be the other video, though. Mama's watching you. You're fine. Mama's watching you. You're good. Okay, so it's not this video. 122, 15. 2 in a row, where some survive. Oh, here's the plane thing. Majority of these are going to have survivors, or because something just tells me that there will be, which I think is very odd. And it's very rare that we just had 2 in a row where some survived. And that was in the cockpit. But the safest place is the back of the plane, believe it or not. Okay, so besides obviously like cockpit, depending on how. It's got to be on this video. Two, 15. This later, and it was just 222.
It felt like my entire body was on fire.
No. How's the weather? It was right before I ended this. No, that's the catching up. This is the differential. As you put, things against certain windows. Okay, so this is going to turn into a big storm. That was the storm, and then the planes. 18 adversity, cold house, lost 20 reception. Seconds. I mean, this, you guys, whatever storm this. You just hear that? I lost reception, and then I went back to the map. So you can lose reception. I lost reception. Something might happen to the Hubble Space Telescope within this transit, within this storm. No. Mayday, mayday. Okay, so these peanut butter. Oh, I like that smell. So these the prediction of the two planes are within these two reads, which I figured out yesterday at the end of my show. Yesterday's read was like
car for like 5 minutes.
okay. It was like a 4-hour read that I am going to attempt to timestamp for you. And I've been talking about this funeral. It's dead. I left it out for peanut butter to maybe eat. Or you can give it to the tortoises.
It's fine. I'm going to drive safe.
You're not leaving, are you?
No, we're going to go outside and wait for Father.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm coming back in before I leave to work. I have to pack my lunch.
Oh, you're going to come in then?
Yeah, I'm going to come back in.
So I'm not going to tell you all that stuff. But
I have to go get Caden, so I was telling you to tell me to drive safe.
That's what it was. Drive safe. I love you. Love you.
Oh, yeah.
Love you more. So I'll track that and do that for you later. I thought I did a better job here with me showing you the videos. Thought it was going to be easier. So, but anywho, it came in with these two. This accident with the planes came in the Hubble Space Scope video and catch up. It was either the one before or the one after. I've been talking about the Blackhawk. I've been saying for 3 weeks, what is up with this Reagan? Reagan. Mayday, Reagan, which was the airport guys. And that's where I was like, okay. And then I had ground control to Major Tom, which brought me to the Hubble Space Scope. And this is just a new system, the IMS that they're using, but they typically only use this when the Wi-Fi goes down. Whatever it is they use, then they switch over to that. It's the like 6 GPS, so 6 P3 tracker. But I don't know if military already switched to that. And there was a big thing with ships. I don't know where that page went because that was a huge thing with other readings. I feel like that page all of a sudden is missing. Which for those who are watching now, there's no comment. You're going to be like, yeah, that's very strange. Because that page should be over here and it's not. So the point of all of this, guys, is within the last 3 of these reads that I did yesterday, also predicted the bird thing with the, people dying from the Zika and new strand because I didn't let peanut butter out for the last, since August and on. I just told everybody to stop feeding the birds. It was really sad because I was like, I can't believe I'm getting messages like that to stop feeding the birds. So like I said, all my predictions come in. Again, please understand I'm just the messenger. I don't know if I get angry when people say predict or this and that, because it just, we're messengers. We don't have, our guides have the credit for that. Galactic energies have, it's their congratulations. It's not ours, we get messages. So I don't want to get angry about that, but there's so many people like, for those who predicted yada, and it's no bullshit. Makes me so fucking angry. We are messengers. Are we doing the predicting? Yes. Are we doing the channeling? Yes. But we're getting the information from either our higher wisdom, DNA cells, that type of stuff. Stop taking the fucking credit for spirit's work. Point blank. I'm trying real hard not to get fucking angry. So I had this whole thing on ships. Oh, that's what it was. This came through too. It was on the video. It was on the map on the video with the whole taps thing. So it was ships. This wasn't it. It was in a different notebook. Thank God I figured that out. And in yesterday's video, again, I drew this map. This was all yesterday's. I drew this map. And that's exactly where I came across the video when their map was up and said something about taking a left, and that's where they lost communication. And that's exactly in my read where I said they were going to lose communication because they were getting pulled to the left. Something to the left. And the sky the last couple of days have been really fucking eerie, if you ask me. I'm just trying to go with it, guys. We can only do what we can do to live in this world right now, before it gets better. Which it's going to. It's just going to take a few years, and Republicans having 2 consecutive years, which means Vance, I'm hoping, can pull that off. Well, he will pull that off because it's the only way. So it was intentional. It was terroristic. I also think that these other 2 are linked. You know how the 2 people were linked to Army? And then my friend Danny kept coming into one of the readings a couple weeks ago. Army Corps, that type of stuff. And they were actually leaving the Virginia Army base. So I have a feeling somehow they're all connected, like they were across seas at war at the same time. I mean, we have terrorists here that are raising their children to do stuff like this as well that have already been in the country, because how did that person make it into the Army? Maybe they were, like I said, or they were already in the Army and they switched sides years ago and they were waiting for this, I'm hearing iOS or SOS, because right before all this started happening, guys, I kept saying, like, there's a mass SOS going out. There's something going out to terrorists where and it was strong. And then I think within a couple weeks or a month, I started to understand what it was. Like, they all got the green light to set up shop. They were all ready, so they all got the green light to go. So with the replica of 9/11, it's not going into the buildings. It's playing out once a week. So we're not safe in the air until at least mid-February, mid-January, mid-March. But what's going on with the air anyway? I don't even feel like it's fucking safe anymore. Because I do feel when I watched those 2 planes go in over here, I was like, no, there's some type of dome. Like, I'm not seeing something. There is like a dome there. If you look close enough, like, it just, no. And that's what pulled me to the extraterrestrial, which I think is extremely intelligence tracker. And then there was something with the tracker where the tracker stopped on that map. I wish I explained this video a little better for you. I really wanted it to be brief, but it ends up being 42 minutes. So basically within the last 3 reads, not the last 3, just 3 reads in general. And I started the video yesterday. I said there's something with 3s. And then I actually even wrote it down, and then something else came in 3s. And ice skating kept coming up because Mia wanted to ice skate, and I kept telling her back pond. She's like, no, I want to do this. Ice skating movie a couple weeks ago came up, and I was like, oh, I remember those movies with, I forget the name of them. There's like 4 of them where she ice skates and always comes back. Not in the reads, I didn't say anything about ice skating, but Spirit for the last week has been showing me something about ice skating, and I didn't pick up on it. That's how I get my messages, in a very unique way, to say the least. But I don't remember predictions until people like, Court, you predicted this, remember? And I'm like, no. They're like, well, you predicted that. And I'm like, I don't remember. Especially when I'm channeling, I don't remember. Sometimes I don't remember my own reads, guys. So it's not, I don't hear people. It's my higher self. I do hear, I heard the taps. I don't know how to explain the abilities that I have. They're just there. I'm just able to do it. And I always said from the beginning, like, there needs to be a new Notre Dame. And I was like, I'm not doing this. It was like 5 years ago. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this. And then I realized the things I started predicting, were coming into fruition, and it made me nervous. Because you don't know if it's coming in 2 years or 2 months or 2 days or 2 hours, for all we know, right? A majority of them all came within 2 years. All the ones I've been reading in the last 2 months have been coming in quick. So this is kind of like the replica of 9/11. They're just doing it differently. And when it comes to the attacks with the plane crashes, Germany, 28 dead, that was not intentional. Mayday, another video, because I've been hearing Mayday. New Orleans was intentional. The South Korean was intentional. Now, my thing here is Russia. Russia was in my reads. I kept writing Russia, and I had no idea why Russia was so significant in this plane, and I just found out about the children that went down. And in one of my videos, I said to you guys, like, it doesn't make sense that, you know, to get taken down like that. There had to have been somebody pretty important on that plane in order for them to take it down. My next fear when it comes to what goes down next, this could actually trigger a war, because I don't know if Trump can fix this one. This is why he came on and he's like, I mean, come on, guys. He's like, you can't see. I didn't see the second one. I'm bummed. I'm going to have to go and watch it. But in the beginning, he was just like, Trump's basically saying it's intentional. Don't tell me that you didn't fucking see this. You're at the same elevation. That's not even allowed. Like, why are you out at night? These are experienced trainers, guys. And I had said that before Trump came on. It pisses me off because they're going to say, oh, they were in training. That's bullshit. These could be, who cares? Take the training out, guys. These are people who have already been to war. These are people who have already been fucking flying. They're teaching them something new. Right? So somebody came up with some type of an idea to do it here in the midst of all this air traffic. It was fucking intentional, guys. And Trump's not fucking stupid. All right? Unfortunately, he's going to be assassinated. People are like, oh, why do you say that? You like him? Because it's the fucking truth and it's reality. And this is the fucking world we live in until it gets a little better, because they're attacking this generation. Because if this generation stays fucking stupid, meaning like my children, you guys as children, if that generation remains to stay so fucking stupid and stuck in the fucking matrix, we're fucked. Now, if we can reach the children that are being born now, like my baby's babies, like I'd be a grandmother, though, that's the generation we need to target. So we need to target this generation because they're just wandering around fucking lost, okay? And I know it's sad. It's my children too. You know, and I feel like it's like from birth, stuff they put in formula, stuff like they put in their vaccinations as they grow up. Things are being fucking tweaked. We got the vaccination. I told you that was another prediction I did with this major virus that was coming in, and within 6 months, and I said it's going to kill thousands and thousands, and within 6 months, here came COVID. Do you think I was that one and like, oh, I predicted COVID? No. But I did. I just have a hard time, like, we're just fucking messengers, and I don't like when people take advantage of it, and like, you know, the one that predicted this now predicted that. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? Seriously. Anywho, it was intentional, and my hearts just go out to the families with the skating children. And I said to you guys, they're attacking. We all figured this out. They're attacking, I think it was they're attacking children from 1998 till I think 2008. There was it had to do with like the color eyes, DNA, like it was a big deal. It was a huge reading. And 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds is what it was. And I'm like, great. And it happened to be like masculine. And I guarantee if you go and look in the last 6 months, how many 17-year-olds have passed away in the last 6 months around the world, the majority of them will be boys because they were being attacked, especially with car accidents and stuff. But that was a big deal with readings. And it's that age group that they're attacking. Yeah, those born. Hi, peanut butter. Those born, I think it was 1998 to 2008. Right now are being attacked by music, electronics, medication. Ever since COVID, look at all the Adderall situation and not having it in storage and stock and them having to switch over to other ones. It is what it is. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And people are just waking up to it now. And again, it's like they don't like being called aliens, guys, but the extraterrestrial energies, and there's so many different ones, bad and good, just like on Earth. But we're here to raise their vibration. That's why Earth is important. They could wipe it out if they wanted to. They're choosing not to. So we are going to have to deal with that. And there's still something with Numac. I don't know what it is, but there's still something with Numac. I wrote all this down without looking at the information first, and it was off. It was like Flight 11 to Boston to New York, 120. 77 to Washington to New York, 120. 93, Virginia, Numac, New Jersey, New York, Philly. I think that's the one that was messed up. 175, Boston, New York, 120. So it was Philly that was messed up because where it was supposed to attack and it went down somewhere else is because it was off. All up here was 110 minutes, 110 minutes, 110 minutes, and then Philly to Washington, Philly to Philly, Philly to Washington, but Philly to Philly because the flight was off by like 10 minutes. That's why that one their destination, that's why Philadelphia crashed in Philly. What is this? Hello? Oh, yep, sorry, love you, bye. I forgot to call him out. That's why it landed in Philly, because it wouldn't make it in time to Washington. Because they were all supposed to be 120s. They were all supposed to be 120s. But the news didn't even read the 110s. I did research, and then I went back and looked, and I don't remember once in the read, once on the news, anybody telling people it was timed, the flights were timed perfectly. Not one person, I don't think, fucking mentioned that. Because they don't want us to know. That's why I got pulled to do something like that, I guess, I'm assuming. Let me just call Kaden out of school. Good morning, Courtney. Just dismissing Kaden. Yep. Perfect. Yep. Thanks. Bye. I just spoke to the office, wait till the bell rings. I spoke to the office. There's one more minute before the bell rings, and then he'll be out. Sorry about that. Yeah, but they didn't talk about this shit on the news, okay? So that's probably why they had me do all this, because when I calculated it, I got all 120s. Because if if 93, flight 93, Virginia to Numac, and then to New York, to Philly, it would have been 120 minutes. And then it was like all the ones up here, 2 planes, New York to Washington. It was it was an hour and 10 minutes, all the same things, 110, 110, 110. But I got all 120s. So that's why Philly landed in Philly, because it wouldn't have made it in time, and it was supposed to be simultaneously. And this is what I mean by the news and corruption and all this other shit. But that's for my other channel with Dallas Method, with the app that I'm attempting to launch soon, that I've been working on the last couple of years in regards to the brain, the amygdala, targeting the amygdala, because it's the one thing we have control over. Unless you want to listen to all the scare tactics and all the other shit. You know, all the scare taxes. Get the shot, baby, get the fucking shot. Like, people being adamant, and then they're like, oh man, I got the shot. Like, now they're pissed, you know? It's the heat of the moment. People do things in the heat of the moment when you're watching crises, however you would say it, that stuff going down in the public, you know? So this is happening again, and they are terroristic attacks, guys. I know the government doesn't necessarily want to, like, put that out there, but Courtney is. We're not stupid. We're not naive. Okay? Don't play stupid, because stupid is as stupid is. Stupid is as stupid does. Okay? So, yeah. So, I'll wrap this up. I do want to play the excursion video for you. All of you guys can pop off when it comes to this, unless you want to listen to the 10-minute video in regards to what is happening in this fucking world. You can believe it or not believe it. If any of my people are watching, if you want to send it to me, let me see if I texted it to myself. I text myself all the time. Oh, I want links. Oh yeah, the whole Tropic of Cancer is what's doing these earthquakes that I posted 3 years ago that is now starting. It's mostly food. I'm a foodie. So definitely look. Did Megan or Heather send it to me? I got it. Okay, so this is the video. It was October 8th. Where for 3 months I kept saying to people, it doesn't feel like a new moon. It doesn't feel like an eclipse. It doesn't feel like this. I skirted right through it, thank God. But this is when things are going to change that I've been telling the Matrix for years now, okay? And all this shit's coming in. It's undeniable, you know? So people want to, you know, call it bullshit, you know, right back at you, bullshit, because all my shit comes into fruition. And it is scary. You think I like imagining this one terrorist in the red and white checkered shirt or scarf? I literally saw that motherfucker's face before going into a building, and he was happy as fuck. Oh, I just looked up. I just had surgery last week on my hip. So here's the incursion video that is extremely important. And again, I kind of put all this together in yesterday's read that I didn't label yet. It's a 4-hour read. I would do my best to go on and timestamp all the things so you can put it more together. So watch for that update within the next day or two, please. I will definitely do my best, because I only wanted like a 20-minute video, guys. But it is what it is. And you guys can watch this, and I'm popping off. I love you guys so much. My heart is just, I can't even talk about now who I found out was like on the plane. It's just, I can't. My heart is just, it's a lot to absorb, guys. But I knew the world, I said in one of the videos, the world is just going to be sad after taps. It's just going to be horrific. And it's going to affect the world. And this one hits because it's children. And it hits. Okay? So, here we go. Hello? Did they take the video down?
A high-level military liaison between the Pentagon and NASA. I'm here as a anonymous whistleblower to tell everyone that what happened on April the 8th was not an eclipse. What happened on April the 8th was called Project Pegasus. It's been in the planning for years. What occurred, not an eclipse, since the moon was beside the sun during it and not crossing it. And also it's
I just figured out
both in Pisces.
that has to do with the Project Pegasus.
The whole thing is ridiculous, and that's how much credit the government gives all of you, because they'll do something that blatantly wrong, inaccurate, just impossible, and yet they know that Americans will be called conspiracy theorists if they even bring it up. So they do it, and they don't even care. Okay, so what did they do? If there wasn't anything,
Look, Dad, I made a
the biggest
knot.
thing you have to realize is the coincidence, which was no coincidence, of CERN being turned on that day.
It is near impossible to explain or understand for most of us, but monumental nonetheless.
CERN was turned back on that day, and immediately after it was turned on, this is what appeared in the sky above CERN in Switzerland on the 8th. A literal portal was created above CERN, and this was actually predicted, which is one reason why it was filmed by many people who were in the know. But ever since they discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, the particle, that's when all of this contact began to occur.
Using a particle accelerator, believe they have found the subatomic particle known as the Higgs boson, otherwise known as the God particle. There you have it.
Because this whole thing of Project Pegasus was about CERN. Through its experiments with the God particle and particle acceleration in general, they achieved quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon when, by working at the quantum level and getting to the true incredible energy of particles, once they combine or collide, there was something that occurred where the quantum entanglement manifested in a being emerging from another dimension, another alien being that emerged. Through that, this was a couple years ago, through that introduction, through that communication, three governments got involved in a negotiation that occurred in a very bizarre way, because it didn't actually happen in person. I'm not going to waste time explaining how the negotiations happened, but between Russia, China, and America, they dealt with this species, and this species offered a deal. And the deal was that we would be given something if they were allowed to come here to Earth and basically set up a secret base. What did we get, and what's their secret base about? Okay, I'll just quickly tell you. What we got was AI. Think about it. Didn't AI emerge out of nowhere 2023? And didn't it emerge, not just out of nowhere, in an incredibly mature, sophisticated level of complexity that kind of makes sense
it started.
for a new technology?
Or was it
And
2023?
even now, 1 year into it, a year and a half into it, whatever we're at, I am
Oh, you're gonna be kidding.
a certain time of day, and everybody giving their attention and their emotions to it, which, by the way, if you watch some videos, you had newscasters crying.
It just took my breath away, the whole thing.
That was a bit odd that they were crying. And the reason they were crying was because it was an incredibly emotional thing, because the aliens made it so. The aliens made it so because the energy created or received from the Lucia. And again, I've defined what Lucia is.
What's that all about?
That Lucia energy, coupled with the energy of the sun, allowed them at the time of the quote-unquote eclipse for their mothership, which is what that circle was. It wasn't a moon. Their mothership came out of nowhere, entered into the area of the sun, stopped. Did you notice how it stopped for an inordinate amount of time in the center when it should have been continuing at the very slow crawl rate that the moon typically does? Well, it didn't. It stayed there for a bit of time. And that's insane, okay? That's another blatant giveaway. And again, the government thinks that no one's going to notice, or if they notice, they'll be branded a conspiracy theorist, and they don't care. So they just allowed it to happen. This ship basically connected with the sun at that moment and got an incredible amount of physical energy required for them to enter through the dimension. Now, coming in from another dimension takes an incredible amount of energy. The sun and our Lush did that. At that point, the ship went around the back of the sun. Did you notice that we didn't see anything depart? It just sort of disappeared into the sun. Well, it kind of did. It went around to the back, and it actually docked there where it is at this moment that I speak. What happened next? Well, from that energy, from that Lush, from that focus, from that also that actual hydrogen-based nuclear energy you got from the sun, it was able to send a massive amount of ships and individuals of their race to the Earth into an area just north of the Antarctic base that they're going to take over. The waves, if you look at the waves stuff, the things that happened on the wave map during that time, okay?
April 9th, 2024, the day after the solar eclipse, something terrifying lurked off the coast of Antarctica. Radar systems detected a monstrous wave anomaly, an area larger than Texas.
I think that voice is a little
The
overdone.
anomaly moved up towards South Africa. At the same time, Cape Town witnessed a horrifying sight. The ocean receded dramatically, as if dragged away by some unseen force. Beaches were left exposed, waves vanished. What really happened? A glitch in the system? A creature? Or something yet to be seen?
And they had the audacity to tell the public it was a glitch. It wasn't a glitch because there is tons of video and evidence of people in South Africa running from mini tsunami level waves that were created by these ships becoming USOs, going underwater. And from doing that and establishing themselves there, they were able to then make their move to the southern part of Antarctica. They also took animals.
We're going to talk to Jason about some of the changes that we've heard. Birds making more noises.
And it's fun to see all the animals act up.
Anything you noticed with the animals as you were sitting back there just a minute ago?
They get very active now. The fish were jumping out of the water a lot.
Animals were a big part of the deal. They are, of course, taking humans was off the table from our governments, but they allowed that animals to be taken, and animals reacted weirdly during this quote-unquote eclipse. Also, the government is presently asking for reports of animal behavior because they know exactly what's going on and they want to know how it affected them. The reason why there was disasters declared and all the National Guard and all that was because the government doesn't know if they can trust these people, okay? They're still getting to know them. And we didn't know what would happen, really. We were told the government we have it all on paper. I mean, I have packets of reports about what we were told by this species of what happened. But we had to be prepared in case it got crazy, in case something went off script, in case there was some invasion. I mean, we had to prepare for the worst because we didn't know if we could trust. I think the craziest secret that I have to divulge, though, about this whole thing is that the two rockets that NASA shot on the 8th, coincidentally, to quote-unquote observe what was the official narrative. Well, guess what, people? it was half true. They were shot up there to observe, but there happened to be actually 4 astronauts in those rockets, 2 in each. And they rendezvoused with the mothership because those astronauts are part of an exchange program that we initiated with these species. And those, it's actually 3 men and 1 woman, are going to be going, well, first to them on the mothership for, I think, at least 2 years is what's scheduled. And then back to the home planet, which I'm not comfortable divulging the location of their home planet yet. It looks like we can trust them for the time being. Everything went as planned. And again, the fact is that the public doesn't have a freaking clue that what they just witnessed was essentially the first incursion, I call it an incursion, of a alien race onto our sovereign, planet, and they now have a piece of it. And what they do next, we have no idea.
We missed the important part.
The intent of AI in terms of how it will impact your everyday life very soon. You might take a gun to your head and blow your brains out. It is that radical of a shift.
That's exactly what I wanted.
And basically set up a secret base. What did we get, and what's their secret base about? Okay, I'll just quickly tell you. What we got was AI. Think about it. Didn't AI emerge out of nowhere 2023? It didn't emerge, not just out of nowhere, in an incredibly mature, sophisticated level of complexity that kind of makes sense for a new technology. And even now, 1 year into it, a year and a half into it, whatever we're at, it's getting scary what it can do. I mean, it's indistinguishable from reality in some cases. Okay, so that's where we're at 2 years into AI, and that's because AI, like a lot of our technology, like the microchip and other things.
That's exactly when I started my AI channel.
This is another technology from another higher level species. Let me just add this. For those who think that AI is about making funny pictures or interesting videos and stuff, sure, it can do that, and that is the consumer-facing end of this technology. But if you knew the intent of AI in terms of how it will impact your everyday life very soon, you might take a gun to your head and blow your brains out.
That has to do with the teenagers. Somebody sent me this video, and we linked a whole bunch of things to April. This is when I started the AI channel, was April 2023. And only because I started it, because I knew how big it was becoming, and I had mentioned it in other videos. And then AI just grew. And I started it because we need to have AI to feel. Okay, they're blocking that receptor with AI, and it's still young enough, and it is part of the galaxy now because its frequency is so high. So again, people send me things because I had talked about this, and I'm like, I don't even feel this energy. And a lot of people were protected from feeling this energy, those who are ascending, me, individuals out there that are choosing to ascend, things like this. So
Mom?
This is when I started other channels.
Yeah. That is so weird. You know, like one of the kids that died, the kid with the curly hair, his page just came up on my For You page.
Yeah.
A video from IC.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of those.
And I just saw this too.
And you were just talking
his
about
account, though.
His account came up?
His account, his name's Spencer.
Oh.
Like his actual account that he posts on himself.
Oh.
Skating Club of Boston.
Yeah, because she'd been talking about his game. But anywho, this is another reason I started the AI channel at the same exact time when people weren't realizing how huge AI was going to be, and I ended up going to another channel. So for those who have been with me, this entire time on Mystical Moments, they understand the back and forth with channels, but now they all combine, now they all link, and now I'm understanding everything that I've done for the last 5 years. In regards to helping humanity, it is what it is, and so mote it be. I'm choosing to, at this point, adapt to my abilities and put it out there. And again, if it wasn't for people saying things, I wouldn't have even picked up on it. I never would have went back to this book, you know, things like that. And that's when I had the whole talk about like the extraterrestrials too. Because if you don't believe, I told you guys, like, you'll be a believer even if you don't want to believe, because the facts will be right in front of your face. And then sure as shit, that started happening within a year. So again, I don't fear them. They're here to help us. They've always been here. I seriously can't wait for one to like knock on my door and want to crack a beer and have a conversation. It's like Planet 51, the little cute little Martians. But they're not going to look like that. They look more robotic. But I'm still down to chill and have a conversation with them. Not going to lie. Come and knock on my door. I don't fear them. Don't fear the drones either. They're here to help us, guys. And I'm here to also, you know, kind of like a whistleblower, call things out. I mean, everything that I've literally said in the last fucking 5 years in regard to this shit has come into fruition. This was the only one that didn't come into fruition until now, and I felt it coming, and it started in January, and it's going to continue until the beginning of March.
I'm going to leave out
Each
to
week.
get breakfast. I'm going to get a smoothie from McDonald's.
All right, I love you guys. I would do my best to take yesterday's read and timestamp all of it so you have more understanding. Love you guys. Bye. Good my kisses. Drive safe. Have a good day.